Hello there. I want to take this opportunity to welcome you again to my YouTube channel so that we can go to discuss on how you can create this amazing, elegant looking flyer for a financial breakthrough service. So I hope this particular tutorial will help you to be able to design this particular kind of a flyer to be used in your church or any other place that you want to use it. So without wasting much time, let's dive in and see of how you can create such kind of a flyer. Now you go to our Photoshop. That is the main application you're going to use. You go to the file and then you go to new. So we are creating a new document, or we are creating a new folder, a new file. Now we are going to create a flyer of 4 by 4 inches. So 4 by 4 inches, I think it is one of the flyer that I created here. So you can see here it is 4 inches. You just say 4 inches, 4 inches, and then it is supposed to be portrait in color. You can see we are using 300 resolution. Why do we use 300? Is to ensure that there is that clarity of that particular digital media, to ensure that it stands out in the digital space. And then we are using RGB color. So if you are dealing with the printed one, you can go for CMYK, but for this case we are just going to use it for digital purposes, and that's why we are using RGB. Then the background, you can just leave it to be white, and then you can click on create. Now it is going to load this particular canvas, which is 50%. I can reduce it a little bit so that it is well fit within that screen for us to be able to see on what you're going to do. The first thing you're going to do is to work with the background. We are going to design the background, and then after that we'll be able to add the pictures that we need for this particular tutorial. Now this tutorial does not have many pictures. It just have 1 or 2 pictures that I just wanted to put at the background. Why is it so? Because I just wanted to use something like a street or something like a city at the background, because we're talking about financial breakthrough, and therefore most of the activity takes place in the city, or most of these activities take place in town, and therefore there is need for us to be able to have a capturing background to show you that this is actually the case for this particular flyer. Now you go to file, and then you go to embed, and then I've created here a folder that contain all the resources that we are going to use. If you want to use the resources that I'm using in this tutorial, you'll find them in the subscription section. So this is the subscription section to be able to get the resources. Now the first resource I want to add is this picture of a street. So this picture, I just want to add it, so I'll just place it at the background. So I want this part to stand out. I just want this street is so well, and you can see at the background also there is some kind of lighting, so it makes it stand out in this particular case. So I don't want it to span through the entire canvas. I just want it to take the part at the top here very well, like that. I think that is exactly where I want it to be positioned. But you look at this particular picture, somehow that it will be able to compete with the main picture of the main speaker for that particular event. Therefore I want to reduce its I want to make it blur, and I'm going to use Gaussian blur. So I'm going to filter, and then I go to blur, and then I'm going to say Gaussian blur. So Gaussian blur is going to be set at 8.8. I like 8.8 because it is smooth, but at the same time you can be able to see whatever is being displayed on that particular picture. So after doing that, you just click OK. Now after doing that, the next thing you want to do, you want to add some kind of a picture at the bottom here, something like let me say this picture. I think this can work for us. There is a picture here that I got it online, and then I think it is something like a marketplace. Okay, so such kind of a picture. So I just want to make sure that also this particular picture falls under that below here. Yeah, I just want to make sure that this particular part with a little bit of the grocery part of it can be able to fit at that particular point, like that. And then I can also apply the Gaussian blur. I can also go to filter and then apply the Gaussian blur. I can apply the Gaussian blur, and then I can just click OK. So I think that is it. Now I can just use my layering mask so that I can get rid of this part, these lines that draws the difference between the first image and the second image, so that these images can be able to be uniform. So I just need to have the brush tool. So this brush tool will help me to brush this area, the area that looks a little bit like it is not going to fit very well. Up to that point, I think it is very much okay. So I've been able to work on that, and then after doing that, I can just be able to add some kind of curves, because I don't want it to be so much shouting. I just want to add some curves. I'll just go to this adjustment layer, and then I'm going to add some curves on it so that I can reduce the brightness of that particular part. I think up to that point, I think it is well aligned like that. So after doing that, I just go to my next okay. So this is just basically some of the card images I want to add at my background. I can as well be able to maybe bring in some kind of the picture of people worshiping. Yeah, so I can just go to file, and then I go to place embed. I'm going to look for a picture of people worshiping in church, so I can get that picture here. Let me just get that picture here. But basically that particular picture can be found in our description area. So in case you're interested with that picture, I'll share in the description section, so that you can be able to use it for your own purpose. So I'm looking for a picture here. Okay, so let me just find some picture here. So I'll go to place embed, and then I'm going to look for this picture. I've already put it in the financial breakthrough folder. So financial breakthrough folder, where are you? Here it is. So then we can have that picture. So there's that lifting of hands. I want to bring it here, so I want it to be positioned at that particular point here. Yeah, here exactly. I just want it to be in that particular point, and then I want to reduce the opacity. I'm just going to my layers, and then go to this layer, and then I want to reduce the opacity so that it can be able to fit in that background very well. So you can see at that particular point, I think that is better, but I can continue reducing it, but I don't want it to disappear completely. So up to that point, I think that is that is the best. Yeah, then I can add the layer mask, and then I can be able to use the brush tool, so that I can be able to brush the edges. I can be able to brush these edges so that it can fit properly at the background without any problem. So up to that point, I think I've gotten my background very well. I have gotten the background that I want to use in this case, and the next thing that I want to do is just to add some kind of I don't want it to be so shouting at this particular point. I want to add some kind of black color at the top here, so that it doesn't shout so much. Alternatively, I can leave it now. I can just leave it now the way it is, but I'm going to bring on board now the first thing. I want to bring in the logo, because I'm going to use the logo to pull some of the corporate colors for this church. So that is the corporate color, that is the logo for that church. So I want to position that logo at this particular end here. Just want to position it at this particular end. Yeah, so I think that is the best positioning for the logo. Maybe I can make it a little bit big, but I think that is perfect. That is okay for me. Then after that, I'm bringing the first text. The first text that I want to bring on board is the invitation. So you are highly invited. So I want to have it here. So I just want to click here. So I have already created all the details are in this particular notepad. So I just want to copy whatever is in that particular notepad. So I'll just copy this. I just want to copy this part. I minimize it, and I also minimize this, and then I just come here, and then I just take Ctrl+V, so I can be able to just go with a lot of ease. So like that, and then I want to turn this to be black. I want to turn it to be black. I think black stands out very well. So alternatively, I can say I want to use another font called Popin. So I want to use Popin, but this Popin I want to use medium italics. So medium italics, so I want that text to appear at the top here. Yeah, so I can use that. Alternatively, if this particular one does not fit very well, okay, I can decide to use I can maybe use the script font. So I can go for this script font here. Yeah, if it does if it really maybe I want to make it a little bit stand out, I can go for a script font. I'm looking for a better script font to go for. So I hope this will give us the output that we need. So I think this one is okay. Yeah, maybe I can position it at the center. So I'm going to press Ctrl plus A. I'm going to press Ctrl plus A so that I can position it at the center. So I click on this icon here to position it at the center. I'll also be able to maybe add some kind of I want to add some kind of drop shadow on it. So I'm just going to add some kind of drop shadow. So I'm going to have maybe not drop shadow, outer glow. I want to have an outer glow of white. I think that is okay. It makes it look a little bit okay in that particular case. So I can work with that. Okay, then I move to the next part. I want to bring now the picture of the servant of God. I just want to click here and then bring in the picture. I've already removed the background, so I think that picture can just fit very well at that particular point. So I want that picture to stand out at that particular point like that. Yeah, so I just want it to be at that particular point. I think that is okay. Then I want now to reduce the part down here. I'm not interested with this part that is below here. I'm just interested starting from this part going up. So this is what I'm interested with, but this part below I want to get rid of it. So what I'm going to do in this case, I'm just going to apply what we call the gradient tool. So I'm going to layers, and then I go to layer mask, and then I click on this gradient tool here. Then I can be able to brush this part down here that I don't need. Yeah, so I don't need this part down here. I just need the part at the top. So I'm going to apply the gradient tool to be able to get the part that I need. So I'm just going to do that so that I can be able to remove this part at the bottom here. Yeah, so that is it about that. And then after that, I'm going to also increase the vibrancy of this picture so that it stand out. It should not be interfered with the background. So we just want to add some kind of vibrancy on it. So I will click on the picture. I go to my image, and then I go to adjust, and then I go to vibrancy. So in the vibrancy section, I just want to increase the vibrancy of this picture up to that particular point. I think up to 70, up to 80. I think 80 is the best. Yes, 80 is okay. And then you can also see at the background there's some kind of lighting below the man of God. So I think that is okay for this particular poster. And then the next thing that we want to do is just like we want to add some kind of shapes at this particular point. So I'm going to shapes, and then I'm going to pick on rectangle shape. So I want the rectangle shape. I want to draw the rectangle shape here, so like that. So I want to add some rectangle shape at the background, that. And then this rectangle shape, I want it to be of this particular color, the blue color on my logo. So I'm going to pick that blue color on my logo like that. And then I want it to be tilted. I want this rectangle to be tilted a little bit. So I want it to be tilted like that. So to be tilted like that. So I want it to fit up to the end here. So like that. So I want it to take the bigger part. Boom, there we have it. I think that is very much okay. I don't want to interfere so much with the color, with the image, our main image. So up to that point, I think it is well fit. Okay, so I can have that. and then I can as well be able to create another rectangle, but this particular part should be able to cover only this region, this particular region here. So I'm going to bring in another rectangle tool, another rectangle here, and then I want to use the corporate colors only. So I want to click on this color here, and then I can be able to also tilt it. I want to tilt it, but I want it to appear at the bottom of this rectangle tool here, the first one. So I want to rearrange this so that this one can come below that, so like that, and then I can be able to rotate it a little bit. So I want it to fit at this particular point here. Yeah, I don't want it to span so much. I don't want it to be able to be the outstanding color. Just want to add some kind of that color there. So I think that is okay. Yeah, up to that point I think it's very much okay for me. Yeah, like that. Good. So up to that point I think I have got my color, my rectangle. Okay, let me try to adjust a little bit, so I can use the guide to be able to make sure that I know where exactly am I positioning it and what is my area of focus. So in this case I think up to that particular point I've gone too high. I think up to that particular point it's okay for me. I think it's okay up to that particular point, and I think that is okay for me, absolutely. So I can clear this guide. Now I want this particular part, I want it to be able to integrate very well with the background. So I want to go to my gradients, and then I want to use this if possible, or I can use any other. Okay, so if it is going to prove abortive, I think I can just reduce the opacity so that somehow the background is visible. Somehow the background should be visible in this case. So up to that I think 97 is okay. It gives me some taste with the background. I can do the same to this 97. So I think up to that point I think it is giving me that effect that I want at the background. Yeah, so I can be able to also work with this. Maybe I can reduce this a little bit here. Up to that particular point I think that is okay for me. Okay, maybe I can rotate it a little bit up to that point. Good. So up to that point I think it's very much okay. Alternatively, if that does not work for us, we can just bring in another image that we can be able to put at the top, so that the color does not shout so much. So you know, if you leave the color like that, it is so much shouting. So I can just go to file and then embed. I want to embed some kind of a background color. I just want to embed some kind of a background picture that will help us. I think this street abstract street picture here, I think can work better for us at that particular point. So I just want to bring it down here. I think this is nice. I think this will fit very much okay here. So I can also increase it a little bit, yes, up to that particular point, but I don't want it to interfere with the guest or the main speaker. So I think I can position it at that particular point, and then I can just reduce now the opacity to be something like let's reduce it up to 8. Up to 8 I think it's okay. Yeah, I think that is it. I think that is very much okay for me. I think that is very much okay for me. It's not so much shouting, it is on the background. So I can use 4. I think 4 is the best for this particular case. Yes, 4, it is so much okay and clear in this particular case. Now after doing that, you can be able now to go ahead and maybe I can put all these in one group. So I can just group this. I can group the images together, those images that form the background. So I can just click on the first image, and then I can click on control, and then I got the second image. Okay, I can click on the first, the second image, I can go to the third image, and then I can go to the fourth image, then like that. and then I can just control plus G to create that background there. So you can see all the colors, all the pictures that I'm using at the background is going to be, in that particular case, used there. So I can position to make sure that my image stand out. Maybe I can remove the, let me just remove the let me first go back. Okay, I'm not interested, I'm not going to put the rectangles inside there, so I just want to get rid of the rectangles. Only thing I'm interested with is this background pictures. So these background pictures, I think I can be able to put them together. So I can group these two and make sure that it is at the bottom like that. I think that is so much okay in this case. Yeah. Okay, then I go to my next part, and that is now to bring in the next the name of the event. Before I do some final touches. So I'm going to bring in the name of the event. So already the name of the event is in my notepad, so I'm going to bring in the second line. So I'm going to copy this part and then I just paste it here. Okay, so this color that I'm using in this case, the font I'm using in this case is Poppin, and this Poppin is extra bold. So I'm going to use extra bold. I want financial to be at the top and then breakthrough to be at the bottom, like that. I can decide to use maybe a center line like that, and then I can just be able to increase the size of that particular area, because this is the main theme of the event, so we expect it to stand out in this particular case in that manner. Yeah, so that is the main theme, and therefore we expect it to be outstanding. Now I can change the color. Let me go and change the color here to be white. I want to change the color to be white, but you can see at some extent the white is being so much it's not standing out because it's being interfered with this shirt here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some drop shadow on it. So I'm going to FX and then add some drop shadow so that it can stand out. So I can see it somehow visible in this case. I can as well be able to go to the characters, and then I want to reduce the size between the lines, the space between the two words. So I don't want it to have a lot of space, I want it to be so much together. Okay, so I can just reduce it up to that particular point. I think that is so much okay at that point. Yes, I think that is very much okay for me. So I can make sure that this is center aligned. I just press Ctrl plus A and then make sure that it is center aligned. So that is the main, that is very important for you to do every time. Okay, now the next thing to do is just that before I maybe add some kind of effects on the financial, I just want to bring in the date where the event is supposed to take place. So I go to file and then I go to embed, and then inside the embed I have got a calendar icon. So I want to bring in the calendar icon, so I reduce this calendar icon to be that particular point, and then I can also be able to reduce it so that it fits at that particular point. So I think that size is okay, but I can as well reduce it a little bit again, okay, so that does not occupy the whole part. So I think that is okay for me. Then I click on it. I want to change the color. Of this. So I go to layers, and then I go to this, and then I click on I go to calendar, and then I go to FX, and then I click on the color overlay. I click on color overlay, and then it is going to give me this color. So I think that color is okay for me. I can leave it the way it is, and I want to add some text in front here. So I'm going to add the text tool. And then I can copy the date, the date when the event is taking place. I can copy this, and then I come to this part, and then I just say paste. So I'll have Sunday at the top, and then the date to be at the bottom, like that. So I can be able to use maybe Acrobat. I can use Acrobat. I think Acrobat is the best, and then I can reduce it to something like that. Yeah, I think that is okay. And then I can just say that let me also reduce the normal way, the spacing between the two. I think that spacing is too big, so I can reduce the same spacing again. So I can reduce the spacing to that point, up to this point, no, up to this point. Yeah, up to that point I think it's okay. Then I can also, maybe I can use 9, or I can use 7. 7 is a little bit too close. Let me use 10. 10 is too big. I can use 9. I can use 9. Yes, 9 is okay for me. 9 is the best. I think 9 is okay, and it fits very well at that particular point. Yeah, so I can have that reduced again. I can have that reduced again like that. Okay, then I can be able to bring in the second part. I can also bring in the second icon, that is the icon for time. So I want to bring in the second icon for time here. So I can use that, reduce it to that particular point. Yeah, so I wanted to make sure that they are all in the same line. So I just want to make sure that I get the right place to put it. So I just want to use the grid lines. So I just go to the edge, and then I hold the left button on my mouse, and then I drag it down, and then I go again to this particular point, I drag it down just like that up to that particular point. So I can be able to know exactly if this clock is well fitted. So I think up to that particular point that clock is well fit. So I can just go to my layer, clock, then FX, and then I go to color overlay, and then by default is going to paint it with the yellow, with the orange color. So I can copy this text here, and then I can just paste in this particular case. So you can just duplicate the layer. It's not like copy or paste, Control C plus Control V. You can just use Control plus J to duplicate the layer, and then you come this side, and then you just say 7 a.m. 7 a.m. and 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. So that is the text, and then I think I can make it a little bit bigger so that it can occupy this part. Okay, so the time is also very important to be actually standing out in this case. Good. Up to that particular point, I think we go to the last part, which is now adding the other venue, adding the venue for the event. So adding the venue for the event, I just want to have a line that separates the top part and the bottom part. So I go for the line tool, and then I come here, I hold shift on my keyboard, and then I want to draw the line starting from this point up to that particular point, up to there. Yeah, I just want it to be at that particular line there. And then I need to make this line orange. I need to make this line orange, so I'm going to use the orange color for the fill, and also orange color for the stroke, and then make sure that it is 4 pixels. And then I want to use the caps to be rounded. I want the caps to be rounded, and also the corners to be rounded. So by so doing, I'm making sure that this particular part is well fit at that particular point. So I can just get rid of the guides so that it can be seen very well. So you can see it is very much okay, but I can be able to put it a little bit down here to leave some breathing space for the clock and for the calendar. Now the last thing to add in this case, is the venue where the event is supposed to take place, or where the service will take place. Remember, I've not added the service here. I'm coming to add it right now. Let me add the service. So we have got service. Okay, let me bring in the service. Maybe I can write it here, service, capital S, service. Yeah, so I can also be able to make it a little bit bigger here, but this service I want it to be of the orange color, so I just want to highlight it. I also want to change the font. I want to use Georgia brush. I think Georgia brush is okay for this one, but I want to make it that color. I think that color is okay. Yeah, and then I can position it at that particular point. Yeah, so I can make it a little bit bigger. There is no problem if there is kind of an overlap. Is something like artistic overlap, so there is no problem with that. An artistic overlap is always recommended in this particular case. Now in this particular point, I can also be able to add some outer glow on it so that it can stand out. I think I can add some outer glow here. So I'm going to this effects, and I just want to add some outer glow on it. I think that outer glow is okay. Alternatively, I can use black. I can use that color. Yes, I think that fits well at that particular point. Yeah, I've been able to apply the outer glow on it, that the black color. So I think that is so much superb in this particular case. Now the last thing to do is just to add the venue. So venue, I've already written the venue event, the details here. So I just copy this part. I'm going to copy this, and then I'm just going to paste it here. I'm going to paste it there, and then I want to use the font called Acrobat, but now Acrobat, I want to use Acrobat, let me use just Acrobat semi bold, Acrobat semi bold, and I just want to reduce it so that it fits at that particular location. I just want to reduce it so that it fits on that particular location here perfectly, in this particular location. Yeah, so I think up to that particular point, I think it's okay for me there. For that, I want it to start at this particular point here, and then I can be able to change the color. I want to change the color to white. I want to change the color to white. So white, I think, is okay for me. Yeah, there's some kind of an overlap on this. I can just put it a little bit at the top here. So I think up to that particular point, there's some kind of spacing in between, so that is okay. The last thing I want to add is the live on. So I just duplicate this layer, Control J, and then I come to right here, live on. So live on, and then you put the full column. Okay, then I want this live on to be a little bit bigger here. Then we can just say live on, so that is okay for me. And then I can just bring in the icon for, I can bring in the icon for the Facebook Live. So I want to bring in that icon here, so like that. I want to reduce it and then fit it at that particular point here. So I use the anchor points to reduce the picture, so you can just click on the anchor point and then reduce it to whatever point you want it to appear. Yeah, so I think that is okay for me. The last thing that I want to add is the name of the Facebook page. So I just click on the text tool, and then I just go to my notepad, and then I copy this particular name of the Facebook page for this church. So I just paste it there. So I can as well reduce this. You can see it goes beyond the canvas, so I just want to reduce it so that it fits in this particular location like that. Yeah, I think that is okay. So much okay, this particular case. Yeah, good. So I've been able to add all the details. Now I can just be able to add some kind of effects. So the first effect I want to add is that I want to add some kind of drop shadow on this particular lining, to show there is some kind of a layer between the rectangle at the bottom and the rectangle at the top. So I just want to click on this rectangle, and then I just want to add some kind of drop shadow on it, so that it creates that effect of a layer, a little bit of a layer between the two. You can see here there is some black line, some black color that has been brought on board, and it's very important for us to do that, because just to show some kind of some layers between the two. And then we can also be able to add the same on this rectangle, the lower rectangle. Also we can apply some drop shadow on it, so it can be able to have some kind of, you can see some kind of black line or some black color at the background. Yeah, so I think that is so much okay for me. And then you can just add some lens flares on this particular theme for the color, for the theme for the event, financial breakthrough. So I want to bring in some lens flares. I have got a lens flare here. So the lens flare that I'm going to use, one is here, one is in this particular location. So the lens flare is here, so I can add the lens flare. So this lens flare, I want to add this lens flare here, so I can reduce here up to this particular point. I can go to my normal my gradient, and then I can just use screen. Let me use screen it to get rid of that color, the black color at the bottom, so I can be able to place it at that particular location. I think that location is so much okay for me. I think the location for that is so much okay. Yeah, so I can have that. Good. Then after doing that, I can just go ahead and bring in the second one, the second lens flare. And this lens flare is just meant for okay, you can embed this, place this, so you can as well be able to click on screen. Okay, so I think that color is okay. Then you can just reduce it. So I want to position it at the tip of that F. I think at that particular point it stand out very well. And then you can copy this, or you can Control J this, or duplicate this, and then you can just position it at that particular point also to create that effect at this particular location. I think that effect is okay in that particular location also. For this one, I can also be able to get rid of some kind of, I think there is some kind of background there, so I can just get rid of that background. So there's some kind of background at the bottom there, so I just want to get rid of that background. Yes, I think that is okay. That is superb. Yeah, we have gotten rid of that particular part. So ladies and gentlemen, I think that is your flyer is ready for circulation. So we have been able to capture it in a very simple manner. So you can be able to click on file and then export, so that you can be able to share with your audience. So thank you so much for watching this. Kindly support me in this particular video. So you can just change this to JPEG, and then you can just export it. You can just export it down here for circulation with your audience. Okay, so I was saying that thank you so much for listening, for watching, and following through this video. Kindly support me by clicking on the subscribe button, and also you can turn the notification button on, so that when I create the next video you'll be informed. Okay, see you next time. Bye bye.